Hi everybody, Jean-Charles Compagnon with the KiOui apps. Today I'm going to show you how to make a green screen board so that you can take very professional pictures with your digital camera. I'm taking this video right now with my digital camera, but you'll be able to take single shot pictures with it, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're in my garage right here. The first thing you're going to need is you're going to need different size wood depending on how big of an element you take. One of the board that I have here is about a little bit less than 3 feet by a little bit less than 3 feet. That works great usually for kids' clothes, smaller item, things like that. And then behind I have a bigger board that's about a little bit over 3.5 feet by 4 feet. And that is usually better for grown-up clothing or bigger items that I want to take pictures of and totally remove the green screen out of it. So I'm going to take those two boards and we're going to make some green screen out of it. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to need is a piece of green fabric like this. I recommend that when you go on eBay or Amazon or your website to try to find this fabric, go with chroma key green. You're going to want to search for the word chroma key because it's a special number, or it's a special green that is a neutral green. However, any kind of green or any kind of blue is probably going to work. Most of the items that I sell are not going to be green, but you can do the exact same thing and create a board for a blue screen. And I'll show you a little bit later. Actually, one thing that I recommend is that when we're going to make this green screen board, I do not have a blue screen. But what we're going to do to this one side of the board, you can do the same with a blue screen on the other side, and then you instantly have a blue screen slash green screen. So I'm going to take this piece of fabric and we're basically going to put it on this board. Okay, so the first part of doing this green screen is going to be to take some of that green fabric and basically wrap it on that board. So I'm basically going to open that fabric here and I'm going to fold it in half so it's easier to manage. There you go. And you can see that one screen has one green and the other side has the same green. Okay? So I'm going to take this board here and I'm going to simply find the corner there and put it there. And that's going to be my board with my green screen. Right there. Okay, so now that we have put this green screen on the back of our board, I'm just going to basically take a staple gun and I'm going to staple the back of it. And I'm not going to hesitate to put a lot of staple. One thing that you want to do when you put those staple on is that you want to stretch the top. One of the things with green screen is that you do not want to have wrinkles on it. And I'm not going to hesitate to staple the bejesus out of it. Okay, once this is done, we're going to basically take our board, flip it over like that, so that we can get the bottom done. So to do that, first off you want to make sure there's no anything from your yard or wherever you're doing it. There you go. And we're flipping our board upside down. Now the critical part of this is to make sure that you stretch the fabric as much as you can to avoid wrinkles. All of those wrinkles here that you see are going to be a nightmare later on to get rid of in the picture. So what we want to do is stretch this fabric. Of course we don't want to rip it, but we want to make it as flat as possible. And obviously if there's a little place like this that's dirty, you want to try to get rid of it as much as you can. There you go, fairly straight. Now we're going to wrap around the other part here. I'm just wrapping it in the back here, and same thing, I'm going to stretch it and put staples. There, flip it on the side. There you go. Let's add a couple more. There. Now the final side. Up. And we're going to get rid of all of that excess after. There you go, looks as flat as it can be. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of the excess fabric that I have so that I can use it for this other board. So I'm going to be using a razor blade to remove that. You can use scissors or whatever you want, just don't cut your hand. The idea is to just get rid of the excess here that we have. Don't cut too short to it, too close to it, because you want to avoid it filling up. And I'm going to show you what it does. Actually, I can even use the board here as a cutting board. There you go. So we got our green fabric removed. We'll put away the razor blade. Okay, so now one of the things that we're going to try to do is just make this back look a little bit better so that it doesn't flip like this, and that if we want to put another piece of fabric on it, we can. And it just looks better. You basically don't want it to be dangling while you're trying to manipulate it. For this next part, I recommend that you get a hammer and that you push in those staples. And the reason being that when you're going to put this on your floor to take pictures, you really don't want those staples to be sticking out and ruin your floor. So make sure they're well pushed in and flat. There you go. Perfect green screen board. Now, if you still have some wrinkles here, you can take an iron and then just iron your board to make sure that this is as flat and as smooth as possible. And for those of you guys that don't know how to use an iron, I'll just show you how to do that a little bit later. Now let's do the same thing with the big board now. So once again, we take the fabric. We're going to try to get the place where we already cut it, because there's no point in not using all of the fabric that we can. Put the board on it. And we now have our perfect second board. Okay, so now that we have our board, what we need to do is iron this board to make it as flat as possible. So you just take your iron. For those that don't know how to do, I know for some people it's pretty straightforward, for some others it's not. You make sure you're on cotton, and if there are some nasty wrinkles, you can just push and put some vapor, maybe spray some water if needs to be. Let's get rid of all of those wrinkles. Okay, so I'm showing you my setup here. So basically I put the board down on the floor here. It's still a little bit wet from me ironing it, but it's gonna go away in a minute. And I'm using those soft box here that I've showed you in other video. The bulbs are color tamped to my camera. However, what's the most important is to get a good flat screen so that we can remove it. Having the bulb, the color temperature of the bulb match the color temperature of your camera is very important to get the right color. I'm using this tripod here, and I'm gonna put the camera right on the tripod to show you how I take pictures. So this is my tripod right like that. What I'm gonna do is, you see those lines here? You see how those lines are not straight. If I take a picture like this, this is not going to be a good picture. What I'm going to want to do is tilt forward my tripod till I am actually above the item, like that. And you know you're above the item when those lines here are straight. And that's how you take a good picture. If you can get a tripod with an extended arm, that's even better. Otherwise, you just take your tripod and you tilt it forward like that. Let me just remove the camera and show you how I do it. So, let's see, where's my tripod in the picture? Right there. So imagine that the camera is on it, and what I do is I move it forward like that. You can see that it's on the back feet, so it's still fairly stable, doesn't move that much, and then it's right above the item. I'm going to put back the camera, and I'm going to take a picture of a couple of items. Okay, so you can now see that this skirt that I'm going to take a picture of is put as much centered as possible in the center of my green screen here. And I'm going to start taking some pictures, and then I'll show you later how this goes into the computer. So again, if you take a picture from here, this is not going to be a good picture. If you move forward the camera till you are right above the item like that, obviously I'm making shadows, so you don't want to do that. You want to try to remove as many shadows as you can, and I've explained how to do that before. And then here, click, I'm going to snap a picture, and I'm probably going to zoom on the sticker as well, you know, try to take features of it. So I'm going to take those pictures, and then I'll see you in the computer later to show you how that works.